Hi, everyone. It's Joe Chadburn, the Ambassador Network Director here at World Missionary Press. I'm here with my good friend Sunday Avla Kossivi. He is Every Home for Christ National Director in the beautiful nation of Benin. Welcome, Sunday.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Bro Joe. It's always a great joy for me to interact with you, and I know that today we are going to have a good time again by the help of the Holy Spirit. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Praise the Lord. Yes, I love it. From our conversation beforehand, we have a new baby, a new baby boy. That right?
Exactly. We have a new baby boy.
Yes, you look more like a father today than last time we
Yes,
did an interview.
yes,
Yes, beautiful, beautiful.
yes.
Congratulations to you and your wife. And per our discussion previously, COVID restrictions have been lifted, so movement is no longer restricted, and you can gather as you please. And we're really excited about that. And we talked about like what COVID did to our psyche and what we'll do moving forward, moving even more
Yeah,
seriously into the
yes.
future, and how we'll handle things, and how we're using the internet and things that we've learned. And I think that's really good. So tell me, what is the spiritual climate right now in Benin as far as a hunger for the gospel?
Thank you very much. Like how you just mentioned it right now, we are just coming out from a worldwide crisis, which is COVID, and COVID has like put a fear, a kind of fear in the heart of most of uh, all the population, is especially in our country here. People now begin to ask some question deeply in their hearts. Question about how this thing they can come out from this COVID, and how like with this world that we have great technology today, we have great hospitals, we have great scientifics, we have great doctors in the whole world, but they were not able to like contain, like to stop the COVID, and we lost many people. Many people are dead. So people now are seeing the limit of a human being. Human being, there's some things that human beings cannot do. It takes only the Lord to do it. So I think that this kind of COVID thing has provoked more hunger of God in the heart of people. People are now looking for a divine protection, divine, that kind of divine help in their life, so that in case of anything like that in the future, so that they can be protected, so that they can have the favor of God on their life. So oftentimes when we go to people, this kind of discussion, we discuss with them, and sometimes we ask them, do you know that only God don't have limit, but men have limits? Because with all this technology that we are seeing today, that we are using today, none of them were able to stop the COVID. It take only the hand of God, the hand of God. And if you are still alive today and you don't die, and many people are done and gone, it take only the grace of God upon your life to still be alive. So at this the period that people are very hungry for God. People need something different than the world is showing them every day. People are hungering for something else, and that thing is God. So I think this is the time, as a evangelist, as a Christians, as a pastors, as a son of God. This is the time that we need to have a wisdom to go out there and start telling about God to people, start preaching the gospel of salvation to people. I think this is the right time to do that, because actually in the whole world now people are very hungry. People need something else. People need to come out of from that fear. The needs, the message of hope now, salvation message, the message of joy now. And I think this is the time,
Yes. There's
and also
seeing
the yes,
people
another.
seeing more and more, I think. What you're saying there, how fallible political leaders are, and political
Yes,
ideologies, and just everything what
yes,
you're saying, the human condition that does not respond to Jesus' love and his finished
exactly.
work always comes up short. And I think there's so much in the United States too, celebrity worship, worshiping politicians, worshiping science, worshiping all of these things. And I'm not against government leaders or science, but all those things can be used for evil, and they also have so many limitations
Yes,
without when they do not recognize the Lord. And that's why they're disheartened. People are
exactly.
very disheartened, and many of them are upset, and they're really searching for more. I see that in the United States too. I think this is something
Yes,
across the board. This is
yes,
something worldwide.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah, exactly, exactly. I think it's the same thing also here. And one thing also, Africa, uh, Africa, the when there's a crisis, the African, most of them begin to think about God. I always say that this is how African we react. That when there's crisis in the world, it is that time that most of Africans now want to turn to God. And now we are facing a lot of things in our country. Apart from the COVID, we are facing also the breakout of terrorism in our country. Even as I'm talking now, just yesterday, there was a great explosion in our north side, and many people died, and military people was killed. And this is kind of the fear that people we are also facing. I think getting to 3 months now, we are facing a great attacks from terrorists who come from the north. In Benin, we share border with Nigeria, where we know that Nigeria is dominated by Boko Harams. We share border also with Niger and Burkina, which we know that they are also dominated by jihadis and all terrorism movement. So, the north side of Benin are facing right now big attacks from terrorism.
Mhm.
So the government is doing what he can do also, and that this thing will quickly be arrested. But one thing I can say that when people are seeing in the news all kind of this thing, we are just coming from COVID, and now we are facing terrorism. Is kind of more fear that people are living in, and we know that only the Lord can give hope to people. That
Mhm.
only Jesus that can, when people get saved, when people have salvation, there's some kind of confidence in them, that even if there's bad news, this bad news don't affect them like that. They still
Mhm.
believe in God, that despite everything that is going on, we will come out safely by the grace of God. Despite anything that is going on, the hand of the Lord is upon us.
Mhm.
Yeah. So uh, actually, we are facing all these things, and this is where I always say that deeply in the heart of are, people has many questions in their hearts
Mhm.
that cannot be answered. Only the gospel of salvation can answer that question to them. Only Jesus can answer. And the third thing we are facing now, we are facing also the um, economic situation. Actually, the war in Russia, in Ukraine, is from the beginning. People just think that it's something like just Russia and Ukraine, but
Mhm.
every day we are saying that it's not just Russia and Ukraine, but it's a worldwide thing because it's affecting many things in the whole world. So we now experience the price of everything has gone higher. The thing that we how do you call it? The first we call it um, like what people eat every day. Like
Mhm.
people eat every day. To buy it sometimes it's so difficult for people here to go. Things that common oil, cooking oil that people maybe use 2000 to buy it, 2000 shefa to buy it in the past. Now something like 4000 in them just 1 month. Yeah, people are not expecting this, especially just coming out from COVID and it's immediately going into this. It's a great shock. It's a great shock. When you go to the filling station, the petrol price has gone high, everything has gone high, and this is kind of economic situation and people are facing. And so they are spending more money than what the income that they receive monthly.
Mhm.
So
We're dealing with
so
that too, just to some degree here with inflation and yeah, and things are, the word the South Africans I know use Ubuntu, that that
yeah,
we're one, humanity, when something affects you, it affects me. And
yes,
I think the compassion and empathy really needs to rise, and I think it is, because we're feeling for Ukrainians who are being bombed. We're feeling
exactly,
for people in Benin who are being terrorized. We're feeling
exactly,
what's happening all around the planet, and the internet has even drawn us closer, and we're more informed, and we can see things, eyewitness accounts of things that are happening too. And I think it should stir the love of Jesus. The love of God should constrain us to, to pray
yes,
and to act and to love and to be
yes,
peacemakers. So what you're saying is, we're really relating to one another, I think, like never
yes,
before, and
yes,
and God is working all things together for good. I trust that King Jesus is doing that. I have a another question too, and you may not be able to answer it, and you won't be able to answer this completely. But I know that Benin is the birthplace of voodoo. They said we know that Jesus is Lord; He's King. That the voodoo is just squatters temporarily, but I know that anything that's based in demonic activity and evil is really fear based, and perfect love casts out all fear. But what do you see as far as contrasting the psyche, what's happening with the Christians versus those who are following voodoo and other things right now? Um, uh, Tell us the contrast there as you see it.
yeah. Thank you very much. As we know, Benin is one of the. I can say that when we are talking about voodoo religion, Benin is the first country, one of the first country in the whole world, where even here we people practice is one of the main religion that I can say that in Benin, and uh, most of the people practice voodoo religion. And I said, from the beginning, the start of the church in Benin was so difficult, even till today. Uh, as a pastor, as a missionary in Benin, I always says that if you are able to succeed in ministry in Benin, everywhere in the whole world where they put you, you can easily succeed because it take the grace of God. It take more spiritual exercise to succeed here because the attack, demonic attacks, and everything that we face every day is not easy. But I can say that among all these, the Lord is taking glory gradually. You know, where there is darkness, when there is darkness, the smaller light means lot. Even if the light is small, it means lot, because we can see the shyness, the clarity of that light. So even though the church in Benin is more, uh, we are seeing gradually the effect of the church in Benin. Now churches are be opening everywhere now in Benin, which is not possible before. In the past, there are some places we can't just go there and plant churches. You face a lot of attack and all those things. But today, we can plant churches everywhere we want, even though there is a demonic attack and all those things. We face them in prayer. We believe in God, that who is the who is the leader of the mission, that who is supporting the missionaries, and we know that very soon, Benin will completely turn to Jesus Christ of Nazareth by the grace of God, because we have been seeing many people leaving their voodoo, coming for Christ, burning their voodoos, everything that they have, their fetish, and coming to Christ. So I know that very soon, very soon.
Beautiful.
But one thing I always say is that all Christians in the whole world, there's some kind of nations we always need to remember in our prayer. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the one of the nations is Benin. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I'm talking about different nations. We have different nations, Pakistan, especially Muslim countries, where they also face a lot of persecution or also things. There's persecution in Benin, but our persecution is not physical persecution, it's spiritual persecution. This is kind of a different battle that we fight here. It's not that persecution that you see like this, but it's kind of spiritual persecution. And our life, all our life here is always prayer, because you need to pray and survive. You need to you know, to strongly be in the spirit and
Mm-hmm.
survive. Yeah, survive the demonic attack, survive every kind of anything that the devil is planning. But
Yeah.
I can say that the Lord is doing his work. The Lord is protecting us. We went through fire here. You know, my story, if I tell you my story, you know, it's a great thing that the Lord has done for me, because right now we were talking about my boy who is born. On the beginning it was so difficult because my wife was attacked. My wife just had a dream. I was in a mission in Burkina, and, and my wife had a dream. In her dream, people just came, attack her in the dream, and they put something in her body and drop her blood, and dry her blood. 3 days after, she began to fall sick, and we were praying, and this battle has
Mm-hmm.
taken us about 4 to 5 years before my wife get he completely healed.
Wow.
So yeah, so because of why I've I've taken a lot of time before give birth, because she was
Mhm.
sick all those time. But I know one thing, I know, it's not that the Lord, it's not that the power of God is not with us. No, the power of God is with us. But I just realized that sometimes the Lord just allow some things to happen to you so that you can know exactly where you are and what you can do, and you can know exactly the capacity you have to like to defend yourself spiritually. I
Yeah,
know that the Lord.
there's a place of maturity too, and I think that's, I mean, that goes right back to
Yes,
the Garden of Eden,
yeah,
and the Great Commission is about taking
exactly.
dominion. It's about taking dominion, and it's not
Take
about him
dominion.
doing it for us, but him doing
Yeah,
it
exactly,
through us, and us, yeah, us
exactly,
being sons
ex-
that look like our Father and act like our
exactly,
Father, and where we are, we're representatives of him as his body in the
Exactly.
earth, and that is so true. So yeah, if you're watching, listening,
Exactly.
that's something, because sometimes when you're a new Christian, sometimes things seem to come real easy and you pray and it seems like things happen. But as you grow, the Lord wants to do these things through us. And too often we're
Exactly.
praying for God to heal somebody, and he said, well, I told you to go lay hands on the sick and they'd recover,
Exactly.
or whatever it might be. He's like, I want to function through you. There's a higher level, and I want them to see your love, my love incarnate through you. I'm invisible, you are visible,
Ex-
and I live in you, and I want to function through you and flow through you. So I mean,
Exactly.
I hear you, brother. And man, thank God your wife was healed and you got a baby
Yeah.
boy now after all this time and these battles. And if you're listening, watching,
Yeah.
we need to be praying for Benin. We need to be praying for the nations. A lot of these nations you're not going to see on the nightly news in the United States. You only see certain
No.
ones where the United States has political interests. So
Yeah.
this is really, really, really important. And
Yeah.
we need to magnify what God is doing in Africa and pray for Africa,
Exactly.
a huge continent that's even misrepresented. The landmass of Africa is misrepresented on
Yes.
most
Yeah.
maps
Yeah.
and
It's true.
globes. Africa is
It's,
massive, massive, and
Africa
we
is very massive.
yes, we need to pray for this wonderful, wonderful, beautiful
Yeah.
continent. This is so true. And
Yeah.
I know, getting back to that question, and we're going to move on a little bit here, but I'm sure you are seeing a difference in what has happened in the lives of Christians, what Christians are manifesting versus the population that does not know Christ in Benin, especially during COVID.
Yes. 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 You know, we are experiencing many changes now, especially like how you say in the COVID time. Christians are realizing, or let me say this, they are getting more mature. There's more maturity now,
Mm,
yeah, in Christianity, because of a lot of things that is going on, especially the COVID time that we just passed through. There's kind of maturity. The spirituality is growing up. Everybody is holding on the Lord, and I think this is helping them to take more advantage here, to take more advantage. Uh, you know, like um, I was just saying to my one of my friend, I think last 3 days, that the maturity Christians are developing now in this country. If like we have the same maturity in
mhm,
10 years ago, or 15 years ago, or 20 years ago, we would have changed a lot of things in this country already.
mhm,
Yeah, we would have changed a lot of things already. So Christians are taking more territory now. Christians are like imposing the reign of God, take it, destroying all kind of principalities, powers, everything.
mhm.
Yeah. So
And this is
when
love
we
in
come to the
operation. This is the Beatitudes personified, is what you're talking about.
yes,
Yes, yes.
yes,
Very
yes,
good.
yes,
Very good.
yes.
I have
Now also,
go ahead.
also uh, during the COVID, we had a lot of I can say programs, a lot of operations here that we call love operations, where we prove love to those people who are who are unsafe people, especially those who are in the world. I saw many Christians sharing food to people. Many churches were raising funds in their church to buy food, bag of rice to give to people in their area. This is a great
Mm,
sign that it opened
nice.
many doors for them. It opened many doors for them to their communities, which all these things they were not doing all these things before. But
Mhm,
when COVID came, it gives more idea. We just rise up and say, no, this is the time we need to show the real love of God to people.
Mhm.
Yeah, even if they are not Christians, we need to feel their pain also. We need to go to them, pray for them. We need
Mhm.
to go to them, give them food, what we have, share with them, and all those. So is all this is doing a great impact in the nation.
Beautiful,
Yeah,
because fear would want to hoard, but love says, "I'm going to give, even in my lack, and even in the midst of
exactly,
uncertainty in the world." And that's beautiful, and that's God's upside down kingdom, and that blows people's minds. People see Jesus in that.
exactly,
That's great. Yeah.
exactly, exactly.